My name's Henry and I run Dub Studio, which is where we're sitting now. I've been cutting dub plates for about 14 years, so since 2003, here in Bristol. I cut all sorts of dub plates for all sorts of different walks of life. What we're really here for is to provide a service to people who are making new music, people who are pushing music forward. That's our kind of our target. What we're really here for, what really drives us forward, is helping people to get their ideas out onto vinyl and get them playing out in clubs. I started back in 2003, mainly for local people here in Bristol. So people that I kind of came up with, like people like Pinch and Pepperlist and people like that, and Rob Smith, and in the very early days people like Ronnie Size and all the people on the kind of Full Cycle label. And then I started working a lot for people from Hospital Records, people like High Contrast and Scientific, and a few of the other people there. Because I was one of the first dubplate studios to operate online, so we had then a bigger market. A lot of the DJs that would have normally cut in London, they came to me and got it over the internet and sent by post. I've got quite close connections with Dubchasm, so I do a lot of their stuff here locally, and obviously the Bandulu gang, so that'd be Khan and Neek and Boofy and Hi-Fi Ghost. People like Aishan as well. Just too many people to really mention, but they all tend to be sort of people who are making their own music and playing it out and pushing things forward, experimenting, either from Bristol or further afield. We work for people in New Zealand, Australia, all over the place. Because what happens is a lot of the clients that we work for travel around a lot, and then they get to know people locally where they do gigs and they pass my name around, and then those people end up coming here because they don't often have a local disc cutting facility. Bristol is a perfect place to have a dub plate cutting studio, because there's loads of people on the doorstep that keep the business alive. Not all places in the world are like that, and some people are quite isolated. And they say that they're the only person in the town doing what they do, and there's not enough of a scene. So we're kind of like a focal point for lots of different scenes all over the world, I suppose. What I probably spend most of my time doing is listening to a track and trying to connect with it in some way, because when you're cutting like between 5 and 10 dub plates a day, that's like 10 to 20 tracks. It is quite hard actually to give your full attention to that music, so I spend a lot of my time trying to engage with the music. So auditioning is what I do mostly. Only when you've really kind of listened to a track fully can you kind of start to make changes. Sometimes it happens straight away and you're like, I know what's going on with that track, I can work on it. So I do a bit of EQing, a bit of compression, a bit of limiting, work on the stereo field a little bit, just generally from a practical point of view. There's a very limited bunch of tools you can use as a mastering engineer. But the real difficulty comes from listening to a tune, working out what the artist is trying to convey with that tune and trying to match their requirements. So you're trying to present their music in the best possible light for them, really. I kind of have to understand the music, and I have to know what it needs to be done to make it sound good, and that when you feel it, really. You get a feeling from a piece of music and you feel it's working or it's not working, and if it's not working, why is it not working? And then that's the first sort of stage, really, and then after that there's kind of the mechanical process of transferring that sound onto vinyl, and that's another level of complexity because the mechanical limitations of the medium mean that you can't always cut exactly what you hear. You have to kind of make compromises sometimes. But that's just the nature of the format. Once it's ready to be cut, I basically get a blank dub plate out, cut the groove, and see what it sounds like. If it sounds good, package it up and send it out. If you're interested in vinyl and dub plates, the best thing to do is just try it. Don't kind of worry too much about what it's going to sound like when it's cut. The only way you'll really know is to try it. Get whatever tune that you've got, get it to as near as you can to the way you want it to sound, send it to us. We'll cut it and we'll send it back. It might sound different, it might exceed your expectations, it might not. But the point of a dub plate is really to try the process out in a relatively kind of risk-free, it doesn't cost very much, it's quite quick and quite easy. But going through that process, you really learn a lot from doing it. And you don't have to order like 10 dubs at a time. You don't have to suddenly start playing all dub plates in your set, but try getting one dub plate done, seeing what that sounds like. And then if you learn something from that, you can apply that to the next dub plate that you cut, and you slowly build up. And I don't cut like tens of dubs at a time, I cut 1 or 2 dubs at a time when I've got some tunes which I really like and I know I'm definitely going to want to keep. And I keep adding them to my box, you know, and they've built up over like 10 years, you know, of kind of collecting alongside buying vinyl as well. So like a lot of people think it's quite a daunting thing and that it takes a lot of commitment to build up a good collection of dub plates, but you just start one by one and build from there, and yeah, you won't regret it. If you want to get some dub plates done, the website address is dubstudio.co.uk. There's a really simple ordering process. You just register for an account, place an order, upload your files, and we'll book it in and get back to you with a cutting date and send it out to you.